Joffrey Fitzhugh here from the Fiddle Jam Institute and Outlaw Fiddle. I hope you are all well. Obviously in the pandemic, I don't need to wear this during the video. I'm the only one in the room right now. Mike has asked me to do a little piece on practice and performance. It's a pretty wide subject, Mike, but let's see what we can handle here. And it could be books, many books on each one of those subjects. But what's my take? What's my advice for folks? I've been in rehearsal rooms for decades, and sometimes not my own rehearsal rooms. I had the privilege of sitting in one time on a rehearsal for Return to Forever 4, which had Chick Corea, the late Chick Corea, just passed about a month ago. And one of my heroes, Jean-Luc Ponty, and Stanley Clarke, and Frank Gambale on guitar, and Lenny White on drums. I was privileged of that because one of my old students has been Chick Corea's road manager for about 15 years. He got me in when I was in New York City playing a festival. We were both there in the same city the same day, and he got me in to sit there as a wallflower and listen to how the top pros did it. So rehearsing for them was interesting to see in that they didn't mess around. They didn't practice their solos as far as improvisation goes. They'd practice the forms. They'd stop. Okay, you do a solo there. Okay, skip ahead. They were very cut and to the point. That's one way to rehearse in a band situation. I appreciated that. I had a mask on when I started this video. It's actually his artwork from an artist, musician, late Mark Freeland, who I played with in the 90s. A punk rock crazy man. Should have been a household word. Was just a household word in our Buffalo area, Buffalo, New York, in the United States. But I learned a whole bunch from him. No matter how crazy he was, you know, the band got in trouble for live sex acts on stage, all these crazy things that was way outside of my realm, being a classical musician playing with this crazy punk rock artist guy. But he was right to the point when he practiced too, when we rehearsed. Okay, we don't do none of the improvisational stuff. We get cut to the point. We never rehearse on the day of the show. It's bad voodoo. Very cut to the point, very professional. It was contrary to what you think some rock stars would be like. My own experience, I've told the story many times. I had a great bump in how to practice from my great teacher, Dennis Piwarski, who I think still plays with the National Symphony in Washington, D.C. You can look him up. I haven't talked to him about 7 or 8 years now, but man, what a player. That guy can play stuff I don't even care to play. You know, he can do fingered octaves to the scales and fingered sixths and thirds, and he can drop his bow and just slide his finger, do a perfect chromatic scale while it's ricocheting, you know, all these crazy things. I don't, as fast as I can do any single note thing, he can do double triples for all I know. Anyways, great player. And one time when I was a teen, he was giving me a lesson, I think working on the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto. And he drilled me for the whole hour. I had hour lessons then. My parents coughed up the money. We weren't real wealthy, but they were invested, and thankful for that. And for the whole hour on the first measure, the beginning of the crunch of the bow on the first note. No, yeah, that's it. No, more of that. You know, it tore me to shreds for the whole hour. And then I'd figure he'd pat me on the back and say, "Good work today," at the end of the lesson. But he didn't. He stopped, and then he yelled at me. He wasn't a particularly yelling kind of teacher, so it really struck me, and what he said changed my life. He said, "I shouldn't have to be teaching you how to practice." And I went, that's what practice is supposed to be like? And from that point on, I was much more self-aware. I didn't just start from the beginning and go to the end, hope for the best, go back to the beginning, go to the end, hope for the best, like a lot of people do. I was much more self-critical, not in a negative way, but self-honest way. So when you practice, be as honest as you can. Man, I'm sucking on this one measure. We'll practice just that one measure. It's common sense, right? So don't hide from your problems. Stop and isolate that one spot. Slow it down. Speaking of slowing down, whether you work with a tempo or not is another way to practice. You can, if you're learning a piece, you can do it rubato, just one note at a time, and now don't go to the second note until you're sure of the first one. Whatever the piece is. That's one way to practice. Another way is to put on a metronome and don't deviate from the metronome at all. And pick a tempo you can play the piece perfectly without flinching in your gut. You'll know if you're self-aware whether you're flinching. Oh, I didn't quite do that right. Slow it down even further. Get it down so it's ridiculously slow and get it right slow first, then speed it up. One notch at a time. You'll never, it's way better to get it slow and right than fast and wrong any day, right? Most of this stuff is common sense. So those are some of my takes on what it takes to practice. Be brutally honest with yourself. If you're not doing a good job, slow it down. Do it right. Isolate just that one couple note phrase and then go open the window up and practice a little going up to it and going up a little past it and gradually open up to the song. Get your techniques for practice together the best you can with small goals. No sense in being overwhelmed. I can't play the whole piece. Well, work on the first measure today till you get that perfect. Next day, review the first measure and go to the second measure. Start slower each day. Write down tempo markings. I was able to play this piece at 75 beats a minute today. Well, then next day, see if you can start back at 68 and work your way past 75 and go up to 80 and mark that down. Okay. So those are things that I've done. If you want to talk to me on a private level, I can tell you much more detail about my mindset. Mike has asked about performance. Speaking of mindset, it's all about mindset, really. The stage is not the place to practice, obviously. That's common sense as well, in general. You don't have to know everything, especially when you're an improviser, as I am in general. I love to improvise. That's my artistry. Not everyone does. That's okay. I love flying by the seat of your pants and knowing your stuff and just going with it and flowing. That's the true spiritual connection for me. But in general, performance is mindset more than skills. If you're looking for skills on the stage, it's too late. You should have practiced more. Now, can you ever practice enough? No, you'll never get it perfect. But that's where mindset comes in. Because if you got it pretty good, the right mindset, you'll be relaxed and probably go great. Even if you make a small mistake, nobody will even know. As we age, today myself, it's actually my birthday today. Happy birthday to me. I'm the big 6-0 today. Just by coincidence doing this on my birthday. I heard Stefan Grappelli in his 90s say that tonight is the practice for tomorrow. He didn't practice anymore either. He had his skills together. It's just all being in the right state of mind after that. Be in a good mood, making sure you're sitting in the right place on the stage, making sure you can hear. Okay, we're good. We've done this a million times, so therefore, let's make this night just as great as the others. So, and let it go. If it's not the end of the world either. So I could speak on and on and on and on forever on performance mindset as well, and many books could be written on this stuff. But there's my tidbits on what it takes to practice well and be in the right state of mind for performing. If you're interested in more, hit me up. Just check out the Fiddle Jam Institute. Check out my new fiddles. I'm going to be making these. What do you think? Pretty cool? Electric fiddles. If you're into the electric thing and want to distort like a rock and roller, this is the instrument for you. Through Outlaw Fiddle, I'm just releasing these. Just applied for a patent on the pickup system. Kind of proud of that, and I think it sounds cool. Hit me up or watch my channel, and I'll have more opportunities to know more stuff about that. Thanks, Mike, for all you do out there, and keep on fiddling. Keep jamming. I'll see you guys around.